Okay, so this is the Check Your Understanding on page 123. This is from 10-1. I'm making a few different videos for Activity 10 because it has been our most challenging section so far this whole year. So anyway, number 8 in Check Your Understanding says, Kathleen is spending summer vacation hiking in Canada and wants to dress appropriately for the day's hike. The local news reports that the high temperature is expected to be 20 degrees Celsius. Use the formula F equals 9/5 C plus 32, where C is the degrees in Celsius and F is the degrees in Fahrenheit, to determine the local temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So I went ahead and wrote down that I know it's 20 degrees Celsius. I also know that in my equation C means Celsius and F means Fahrenheit. So I don't know Fahrenheit, but I know everything on this side of the equation. So I only have to, I call this a plug and chug. I just need to evaluate C when C equals 20. Okay, so this is sort of a PEMDAS situation here, where if I do 9 times 20 divided by 5, or 9/5 times 20, I'm going to get, well, let's just do it. So this is like 20 over 1, right? So 9, before I even do that, I'm noticing that 5 and 20 can do some canceling. So remember, let me just show you off to the side here so you're with me. This is what I'm looking at. Remember, I can look crosswise and see if things factor out. So 9 and 1, nothing's going to happen. But 5 and 20, something happens. 5 goes into 5 one time, and 5 goes into 20 4 times. So if I look at that, 9 times 4 I know is 36. So I can say 36 plus 32, because multiplication comes before addition subtraction, right? And when I do 36 plus 32, that gives me 68, and that'll be degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so hopefully you're with me. If you did not see the canceling happening first, you would have done 9 times 20, which would give you 180, and then you would have had to divide by 5, which would still give you the 36 that I got. It just would have been a little bit bigger numbers, and you would have had to do some long division if you didn't have your calculator. Okay? All right, so number 9. All of the rest, 9, 10, and 11, just say to solve for the variable. So number 9, the variable is x, and I don't have any distribution. I don't have variables on both sides. So what I need to do, I have all my variables together. So what I need to do is the inverse operation of addition and subtraction for the numbers. So this is being added 11, so I need to subtract 11. That gives me negative 3x equals 15. Okay, and now the inverse operation of negative 3x, this is negative 3 times x, so I need to divide both sides by negative 3, because negative 3 over negative 3 is just 1. So I have 1x. 15, a positive 15 divided by a negative 3 gives me negative 5. Right, positive divided by a negative. And you should also check your work. So if I were to put a negative 5 up here, that would give me negative 5 times negative 3 is positive 15 plus 11 gives me 26. So just verbally, I'm telling you that it does work, but you would need to show me that step off to the side like this. So here would be your check, and you would put this in the equation, and then I would show all my work. So there's my check step. Okay? All right, and number 10 says 5 over 2y equals 10, or 5 halves y. So this is one of those situations where when I have a fraction, it's harder to divide by a fraction than it is to multiply. So I am going to multiply by the reciprocal. I'm going to move my number 10 out a little bit so you can, I'm not squishing it so much. Put number 10 out here. Okay, the reciprocal of 5 halves, remember reciprocal means I flip the fraction. The numerator becomes the denominator becomes the numerator. And now when I multiply this, I would get 2 times 5 is 10, 5 times 2 is 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. So all this stuff cancels out, gives me y. So what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I multiplied this side by 2/5. This side needs to be 2/5. So again, I'm noticing a canceling situation here. If you don't notice the canceling situation, you multiply across the top, you would get 20 divided by 5, which equals 4. But I'm seeing here that I can cancel 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 10 twice, 2 times 2 is 4. So regardless of how you want to do these fractions, you still should get the answer 4. All right, and then if I put 4 back into for my check, so I have 5/2 times 4, which I'm going to go ahead and put it over 1 because it's still the same thing, equals 10. Oops, not y. Y is 4 over 1. This gives me 20 divided by 2. Let me just write that down. 20 divided by 2 equals 10. So 10 equals 10. Check. All right, and the last check your understanding has decimals. So we might want to use our calculator here. In fact, I don't even have my calculator out. Okay. So first step, get all my numbers on the same side. I have an added 1.75, so I'm going to subtract 1.75 from both sides. Okay, and that gives me 0.3p because that makes 0. And then here I've got 6.25 minus 1.75, which equals 4.5 or 50 if you're talking about money, right? I'm going to go ahead and take off the 0 though. And then I have the number in front of p. It means multiply, so I need to divide. So I get p equals, let's see what that equals, 4.5 divided by, 4.5 divided by 0.3 is, I think I did that wrong. Yep, I did. My calculator is being sensitive. Divided by 0.3. There we go. I got 15. I got 150 the first time. I must mistyped. So I really want to check my work on this one because I can't see it as easily. There's a lot more going on. So 0.3 times 15 plus 1.75 equals 6.25. Let's see if that's true. 15 times 0.3 is 4.5. And then plus 1.75, 6.25. Check. All right, so there's the 4 problems for the check your understanding on page 123.